Hey, Shalom, call Halal, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Bashim, Hakodash, the ones of the apostles of the great millstone, and Shalom to your brothers in the highways and byways doing the work sincerely and faithfully, and continually fighting that good fight of faith, Lord willing, we're finding that number to be delivered, all right? So just based on the conversation that I had concerning, the things of this so-called holiday that people like to indulge themselves in, and the primary food that people like to swallow down is pork, swine, if you will. All right. Now, to the everyday average person, they don't think twice about anything. All right. Pork's good for you. That's what that's what they know. That's what they taught their children, and so on and so forth. All right. And you also see some other abominations in this picture. You see some shrimp. You see some, I don't know if they're oysters or mussels or whatever they call them shits. Not to mention the pig and whatever else is back there on that abomination table. So that being said, your average everyday Christian are the ones who primarily, indulge themselves in these types of foods now because of what we're about to read in the book of Acts, the 10th chapter. All right. So let's go to Acts, the 10th chapter. And this chapter, I usually refer to as the gateway chapter to the awakening to the Gentiles. All right. Starting with Cornelius. All right. But all that being said, let's jump down to verse 9 and get right into it. And it says, now, once again, this is the scripture where the so-called, churchgoers, the Christians, like to put in place to show that now that since the Lord spoke to Peter in such a manner, now you can eat all these other foods. Well, let's look into it. All right, verse 9 says, on the morrow, as they went on their journey and drew nigh unto the city, Peter went up upon the housetop to pray about the 6th hour. And he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they made ready, he fell into a trance. And he saw heaven opened, and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners, and let down to the earth, wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. All right. So here is the introduction to all these so-called Christians and so-called Bible goers who believe that the Lord has done a marvelous thing. Now that we technically can eat any, food on the planet. All right. Verse 12 again, wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air. And there came a voice to him, rise, Peter, kill and eat. But Peter said, not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. All right. So take special note of verse 14. Okay. Peter said, not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. All right. So now with that, you gotta understand. He just saw the vision of all manner of four-footed beasts and wild beasts and creeping things and fowls of the earth. All right. And made that statement. He's never eaten anything common or unclean. So now these Christians put into play now, they understand that swine is unclean. They understand that shellfish and all types of, fish in the sea, sea creatures are unclean. All right. They understand certain birds and things like that are unclean. But because of this vision, this trance that Peter fell into, and the Lord gave him these similitudes, now they say, oh, you see, you guys are going off. You don't have to pay attention to that no more. The Lord cleansed them. Well, here's the point, right? Here's one of the points. When the Lord sups with a man and a man changes his ways, right? You see the results of that. All right? You see the results of it. So if the Lord has cleansed some pork or swine, where's the result to that? Where's the result of this pork now being clean? Now, is it to say the pork is going to go out into the stable, and when his master comes out with the slop and throws it on the floor, the swine is going to say, "Not so, master. I changed my ways. I've been clean now. I'm going to go down to the pond and catch some fish." You see? The changing of a man is through the Spirit of the Lord. All right? A man repents and he turns from those ways that he was once under. So if the Lord has cleansed these beasts that that Peter had seen, well, where's their result? What's their change? You know, a man who's been changed, he turned away from them old ways, right? And you notice the difference in a man. Animal, swine, crabs, lobsters, they're going to continually live the way they live because that's their nature. There's no change in that. All right? So continuing on. Verse 15. And a voice spake unto him again a second time, "What the Most High has cleansed, that call not thou common." Okay? So what the Lord has cleansed, he's not to call that common. But keep in mind, he made that statement of common and unclean right after he saw the beast, the four-footed beast, the wild beast, the creepy things, right? So one would say, yes, this is literally talking about the beast, the wild beast, the foul beasts, the fowls of the air, unclean animals, right? Let's continue on. And it says, verse 16, "This was done thrice, and the vessel was received up into the heaven. Now while Peter doubted in himself what this vision which he had seen should mean, behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made inquiry of Simon's house and stood before the gate." All right. Now it's going to start coming together. Now it's going to start taking form here. Right. Verse 18. "And called and asked whether Simon, which was surnamed Peter, were lodged there. While Peter thought on the vision, the Spirit said unto him, Behold, 3 men seek thee. Arise therefore and get thee down and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them. Then Peter went down to the men which were sent unto him from Cornelius, and said, Behold, I am he whom you seek. What is thy cause wherefore ye are come? And they said, Cornelius the centurion, a just man, one that feareth the Most High, and of good report among the nation of the Jews, was warned from the Most High by an holy angel to send for thee unto his house, and to hear the words of thee. Then called he them in and lodged them. And on the morrow Peter went away with them, and certain brethren from Joppa accompanied him. Now we're coming down to the point here. And the morrow after they entered into Caesarea, and Cornelius waited for them, and had called together his kinsmen and near friends. And as Peter was come in, Cornelius met him and fell down at his feet and worshipped him. But Peter took him up, saying, Stand up, I myself also am a man. And as he had talked with him, he went in and found many that were come together. This is the point. And he said unto them, Ye know how it is an unlawful thing for a man that is a Jew to keep company, or come unto one of another nation. But the Most High has showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean. So my question to anybody out there in the Christian world or whatever world you people fantasize in, my question to you is, show me anywhere in this book where the Lord told Peter, don't call any man common or unclean. You see? So all in all, what you have been told, it's not concerning food. It's not concerning what little wild beasts. It's not concerning these things. All right? It was all set up through the Spirit that this was going to be the entrance of Peter going to speak to men outside of the nation of Israel who were taking on different nationalities, who was taking on different languages, such as Cornelius, prime example, being the centurion of the Italian band. All right. So this isn't a scripture that allows you now to go and pick up any abominable food and just stuff it down your throat, contrary to what you have been told and what you may believe. The Lord is not dealing in that fashion, man. And again, why would Peter say, the Most High have showed me that I should not call any man common or unclean? Now, what does men have to do with jumping up to verse 12? Let's read it again. Wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creepy things, and fowls of the air. And there came a voice to him, saying, there came a voice unto him, Rise, Peter, kill and eat. But Peter said, Not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. Okay? So once again, even when you have dreams, right? When you have a dream and you really can't figure out, why certain things happen in which they happen. All right? But the dreams aren't going to be a straightforward dream. Likewise, when Peter had this vision, it wasn't straightforward. The Lord could have definitely showed him, men, but he showed him fowls of the air and creepy things and crawly things, whatever. All right. But that being said, these are the things which the Lord has hid from a lot of you people in the world. And if you just continue reading, you'll understand that the Lord is setting up the communication between men who have been in the land, keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments, in reaching out to men who were living as the other nations, man. If you just keep reading down, you'll get that understanding. But you people read and you stop at, verse 9, is it? Let me read down. Verse 12. You read verse 12, 13, and 14, and that's it. Now you throw in your bib and you go out there and eat pig feet and chitlins and hog mogs and all kinds of bullshit. Because you think the Lord has now done away with all these, nasty foods. All right. Hebrews 13:8. Yahweh Shai Mashiach, the same yesterday and today and forever. So when he said these things were abominations, you shall not eat them, he wasn't playing, man. The Lord is not playing. Gonna sit there and try to tell people, oh, we can eat these things now because the Lord told Peter, call not those things common or unclean. Right? Continuing on a couple more scriptures. 2 Corinthians 4:16. It says, For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man renewed day by day. See that? The inward man is renewed day by day. Why is that? How is that inward man becoming renewed day by day? Because the Lord has cleansed him. Through the Spirit, the Lord has cleansed him. And that man has now put away that old man. He's put away those old ways, those old tendencies. Okay? So therefore, now this man, whoever these men may be, that come into the faith, they put away those old, habits, those bad habits. You ain't gonna see a crab or pig, or lobster, professing themselves to be cleansed. The Lord cleansed them, because there's no what word am I looking for? There's no, I don't want to say evidence. That's not the word I'm looking for. There's no conclusion, if you will, for lack of a better word. All right. These animals are in their habitation. This is what they do. This is what they know. Okay. When the Lord cleanses a man, you see the results of that cleansing. You see it. Okay. So the Lord hasn't cleansed these pigs and all these abominable, animals. He hasn't cleansed them because they're still doing the very same shit that they were set up to do. Be bottom feeders, cleaning of the earth, eating all types of shit and slop and all kinds of madness. All right? So you people need to get this through your thick heads. The Lord is not the author of confusion, man. He's not going to tell you, all right, stay away from these foods, stay away from these animals, stay away from all these abominable things. But on the flip side, now that the Lord Yahushua came, now you can eat these things. Even the Lord Yahushua understood and knew that these things were abominable. Now, let me go back real quick. Now, it says all men are four-footed beasts of the earth. Now, there are four-footed beasts we can eat. Cows. We can eat cow. Lamb. They're four-footed. But just because Peter made the statement, he has never eaten anything common or unclean, doesn't mean that now, the Lord making his pitch to him, saying, don't call what I have cleansed common. Let me read it right here, verse 15. And the voice spake unto him again a second time, what the Most High have cleansed, that call not thou common. Okay? And that was referring to the men whom he was about to embark upon. Cornelius and certain other brethren that came with Cornelius. Okay? Setting up then the Apostle Paul to be that apostle to the Gentiles. Those Gentiles being the strangers from the Commonwealth of Israel who are out there in the world as living as the other nations. As Greeks, if you will. Okay? As Ethiopians, if you will. Okay? So all that being said, the Lord has not, authorized anybody to eat pork and shellfish and all kinds of abominations. That has not been authorized. So if whoever's watching these videos and listening, take good heed and learn and understand. Don't get dismayed by these these shucking and jiving, hustling pastors out here. All right, they're gonna try to bring you down to the grave along with them. So Lord willing, brothers, are edified on this one, and I'm gonna make it short, right to the point. And I'll see y'all brothers another show. I say shalom.